Breaking news, a nation's economic reversal. Trump administration announces sweeping tariff rollbacks. U.S. concedes the need for foreign goods. Images from auto plants in Michigan and Ohio show assembly lines facing a new reality. Workers who once believed tariffs would protect their jobs now face uncertainty. The economic walls built over the past few years are being quietly dismantled. This is a significant pivot that could redefine American industry. The story began with a promise to bring jobs back home using tariffs as the main tool. Taxes on imported goods like steel and aluminum were meant to boost American manufacturing. For a time, this was the administration's economic strategy. But tonight, the narrative has changed, signaling a major shift. Factory managers have warned for months about supply chain disruptions and rising costs. Tonight's announcement suggests those warnings have finally been heard. The urgent pace of this news reflects the pressures facing the American economy. What does this mean for the Made in America promise? For workers, the future feels more uncertain than ever. They've been on a roller coaster of policy changes, each affecting their livelihoods. This latest development is perhaps the most dramatic turn yet. It's a story about the real-world consequences of decisions made in Washington, D.C., and their ripple effects across the country. The Great Tariff U-Turn, Trump's 2025 policy shift. Just a few years ago, President Trump championed tariffs as the centerpiece of his America First agenda. The goal: revive American industries and protect workers from unfair foreign competition. Supporters saw tariffs as a way to force fairer trade. Critics warned of higher costs and global isolation. Then, on September 21, 2025, came a stunning reversal. The administration announced it was dropping or reducing tariffs on a wide range of imports. The very policies once hailed as the salvation of American industry are now being rolled back. The administration has quietly admitted the U.S. economy cannot thrive without imported goods and materials. This U-turn is a pragmatic acceptance of global supply chain realities. Mounting pressure from industries, especially automakers, drove the shift. Skyrocketing costs for steel, aluminum, and EV battery components threatened production. The administration faced a choice: continue the trade war and risk economic damage, or pivot and provide relief. The decision to reverse course suggests the economic pain had become too great to ignore. America's trade strategy has fundamentally changed. Executive Order 14098, the fine print of a new direction. The new executive order, signed quietly, provides the legal framework for tariff reductions. It grants the Secretary of Commerce authority to issue exemptions for goods critical to the economy. This is a strategic retreat from the trade war, allowing essential imports without heavy taxes. The order frames the changes as a necessary adjustment to ensure American competitiveness. It's a political maneuver to address an economic crisis while saving face. At its core, the order admits a hard truth. You can't build modern products using only American-made components. The global supply chain is essential, and cutting off imports was causing self-inflicted harm. Companies must now apply for exemptions, proving domestic sources can't meet their needs. The success of this policy will depend on how efficiently these exemptions are processed. The exempt list: who gets a pass in the new trade era? The list of exemptions is extensive and strategic. High on the list, specific grades of steel and aluminum not produced in the U.S., essential for autos, aerospace, and construction. These items will now enter without hefty import taxes. Exemptions also cover raw materials for the green economy: processed nickel, refined cobalt, and high-purity graphite, key for EV batteries. The administration recognized that tariffs on these minerals conflicted with its EV goals. Electronic components and semiconductors are also exempt, easing inflationary pressures in tech and manufacturing. Exemptions are targeted, not blanket. Canada, Mexico, and key European partners benefit most. These countries have integrated supply chains with the U.S., strengthening alliances. The move eases economic pressure at home and abroad. However, China and others still face the full force of tariffs, reshaping global trade flows. The new policy rewards allies and isolates rivals. The policy reversal highlights a fundamental truth: America's deep dependence on imported raw materials. For decades, the U.S. has shifted away from mining and refining many essential minerals. The nation is now a net importer of dozens of key commodities. This isn't weakness, it's economic specialization. Other countries produce these materials more efficiently, and U.S. industries rely on that. For example, EV batteries require nickel, cobalt, and graphite, mostly sourced abroad. Developing domestic mines would take years and billions in investment. Meanwhile, automakers must import these materials to build the cars of the future. This dependency extends across manufacturing, aerospace, electronics, and construction all rely on imports. The Made in America slogan is powerful, but most products are a mix of domestic and foreign parts. Tariffs ignored this reality and hurt U.S. competitiveness. The rollback is a tacit admission. A self-sufficient America isn't viable in the 21st century. To build here, we must source globally, a hard-learned lesson. No industry has felt the impact of tariffs more than the American auto industry. Tariffs on steel and aluminum sent manufacturing costs soaring, forcing automakers to choose between shrinking profits or raising prices. The trade war also targeted imported car parts, creating logistical nightmares and unpredictable price hikes. Some parts simply weren't available domestically, leaving companies to pay the tax or halt production. The recent rollback offers relief, but the damage is done. Delayed models, shifted production, and lost investments. Automakers now face new choices. Will they lower prices for consumers or rebuild profits? Some analysts predict modest price declines, especially for EVs. Others expect companies to recover losses first. The consequences of these decisions will be felt in showrooms nationwide. The industry's next moves will shape the market for years to come. For American families, trade policies hit home in the wallet. Tariffs have contributed to rising prices for cars, appliances, and more. Higher costs are passed down the supply chain, making everyday life more expensive. The average price of a new car has climbed, with tariffs adding hundreds or thousands to sticker prices. Many families have been priced out of the new car market, turning to used cars and driving up those prices too. The rollback may bring some relief, but don't expect prices to drop overnight. Companies may use savings to recover losses before lowering prices. The best-case scenario, prices stabilize, not spike. The new exemptions could also restore consumer choice, reversing recent market limitations. Every trade policy shift creates winners and losers. The biggest winners, multinational corporations in auto and tech, who now enjoy lower costs and more stable supply chains. Countries like Canada, Mexico, and key European allies benefit from targeted exemptions, strengthening economic ties. This selective approach rewards allies and isolates rivals. Domestic steel and aluminum producers, once protected, now face renewed competition. Some see the reversal as a betrayal, fearing job losses as imports rise. The biggest loser, China, still facing high tariffs as the U.S. seeks to decouple supply chains. The policy encourages companies to move sourcing to friendlier nations, a trend called friendshoring. American consumers and companies won't see price relief on Chinese goods. The new trade landscape is more selective, strategic, and geopolitically charged. The global balance of trade is shifting. After years of trade war, the verdict is clear. The U.S. cannot wall itself off from the world. The rollback of tariffs admits that American manufacturing and consumer well-being depend on global trade. The dream of self-sufficiency has collided with the reality of interconnected supply chains. The auto industry's struggles were a warning. Protectionism was causing real harm. The pivot on tariffs is a direct response to industry distress. The price and availability of cars depend on trade policies and global relationships. When trade flows, consumers benefit. When it's disrupted, everyone pays. The future remains uncertain. Will automakers trust this new direction or stay cautious? Has this experience taught a lasting lesson about global trade, or is it just a pause in protectionism? The choices made now will shape the future of American trade and the price you pay for your next car.